Will Wolverine's mind be able to survive a trip through time and space? Well, let's hop into the pages of X Lives of Wolverine issue number 3 and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, so once again, this era-spanning storyline is kind of all over the damn place, though as we start, we do get treated to a nice little collage of a bunch of different Wolverines in different time periods. Honestly, 3 issues in, I'm surprised more of these aren't stories we get to look in on, and why we've mostly been dealing with the same handful of stories since the first issue. Like a teenage Wolverine in the 1900s trying to save Captain Xavier, one of Charles's ancestors, from getting murdered and mutinied aboard his old whaling ship. Maybe I'm reading too many comics or my memory is getting worse, but I could have sworn that they actually solved this problem at the end of the previous issue. I guess not. If nothing else, we do get to see Omega Red quantum leap inside the body of a giant white whale. The fact that he can do that is not only very impressive on the page, but it's actually a nice bit of foreshadowing for something that's going to happen later, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now, back in Japan, post-World War II, Wolverine is duking it out with his wife Itsu, the woman who will end up being the mother of Daken. Logan is not only worried about his own life in the fight, but worrying that if he kills or damages his wife in some way, then his son will never be born. And yes, even though Daken doesn't seem that important in the grander scheme of things, you know, butterfly effect, pull a thread on a sweater and the whole thing falls apart kind of thing for the timeline. Wolverine assumed that his greatest threat in this era would just be Omega Red, but to his shock and surprise, he's met by Romulus. Oh, you all remember Romulus, everyone. I mean, there's a good chance you probably don't know who this character is because Wolverine's stories seem genuinely embarrassed to bring him up anymore. Basically, he's the Romulus of Rome, but he also is a dog feral mutant person who was also obsessed with adamantium and cut Daken out of his mother at one point and was implied to have manipulated multiple things that happened during Wolverine's long life. It certainly makes sense that he would be here at this time in history, but still, I always thought he was so silly and soap operatic, but I guess Benjamin Percy likes him, so he's here now. But hey, don't get too comfortable because we gotta jump around in time a lot more. Teenage Wolverine is finally able to save Captain Xavier, though it's made abundantly clear that this interaction with a mutant is going to change his entire outlook. So, you know, history's probably gonna end up taking a licking there one way or another. Likewise, Wolverine is afraid what will happen if his wife dies or if Romulus dies. In the present day, Jean Grey and Xavier think that maybe they could back up Daken's mind in a black hole to save his life. At first they make it sound like that's going to be hard to do, but then they end up just kind of doing it anyway. Lastly, we again return to the jungles of South America, where Wolverine of Team X is outrunning Sabretooth while trying to save Xavier from getting assassinated. Here's the thing though, right when Wolverine is able to make it to Chuck, he ends up getting taken over himself by Omega Red. I did not know that was possible. Is Omega Red just figuring that out now for the first time? If he could always do it, why didn't he do it from the start? And it's on that note right there, the comic comes to a close, everyone. And so that was X Lives of Wolverine issue number 3, and ultimately I found this issue to be kind of thin. The main premise of Wolverine has to protect Charles Xavier's family line throughout history a la Terminator is a really fun and simple concept, yet they somehow continue to drag it out here. You'd think if they were going to keep jumping around in time, they would give us a bunch of fun and interesting little vignettes to follow, maybe some Wolverine stories we've never seen before. I feel like we got the gist pretty early on teenage 1900s Wolverine, Team X Wolverine, and post-World War II marriage Wolverine. If nothing else, they do seek to imply that Omega Red maybe isn't cool with his new Russian buddies either, and that they seemingly pushed him into this much in the same way X-Force pushed him into doing stuff he didn't want to do. Ultimately, the most critical thing I'm going to say about this issue is that it doesn't feel that much different than the other 2 issues that preceded it, and we're at the point now of diminishing returns, which is why I can only give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Jewel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time, everyone, I've been Cape Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.